Hey John.
Hey Andy, what's going on, man?
Hey, nothing, buddy. Sorry about calling you late. I just wanted to. I don't. Are you going to stop by the store tomorrow at some point?
I'll be around. Yeah, we got to finish up. You guys got to finish up painting in there and all that.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. No, I was just wondering if you could drop off a receipt for the last two payments for the 50,000.
Last two paint. We're about to. I never get. Did I ever give you a receipt for the other?
I never got one for the second one. No, I don't believe so.
No, I mean you gave me a total of 75,000.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I already have. I submitted 25,000 of that already. So hopefully they can reimburse some with this grant.
Did
Um,
they accept how did you do that? Just by the proposal itself?
I just did it by the yeah. I sent them the invoice, the total invoice of the 75, and I sent them a copy of the check, and I showed them our bank statement. But they would want they're kind of sticklers of us. They need they want a receipt. I guess I could show them both checks, but the only thing is the second check I wrote it out to you instead of to your company. So I thought it would be easier if you could just write me a receipt for the 50.
Right, right. That I mean, how about if I just take the proposal, right,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll just put balance due and paid in full, right? Would that work?
Yeah, I think that would work as well. I guess yeah, that'd be great. That work.
Yeah. So on the and that and then
It's
yeah.
just yeah, it's got to show that it's paid off so that I can submit that because I think that'll help us try to get a little bit more money back.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell. And my phone's ready to die. I'm talking on the charger right now, but I got the name of the number for the
Oh, for the sign. Yeah, just send that over to me whenever you can. I'll give them a call. I'll be happy to.
okay. All
And
right. Sounds good.
and then one last question while I got you on the phone. So when you're there for your personal house, what internet person did you use? Do you use Verizon or are you using Comcast or because we need a certain amount of speed. We call Verizon today, and they do some like kind of Wi-Fi stuff. So I was just curious what you were using, or do you know if any of the companies in your building use? Is there like
I'm not 100% sure. Down in the apartment, I basically used my tenants. She gave me permission to use her
her
Wi-Fi.
yeah.
But you certainly can't do that.
No, yeah, no. I just want to know the provider. So then we'll still hook it. I just wanted to see if they were using Wi-Fi or if they were using or if they're connected to like a cable if they plug in directly because we need like a LAN. Um,
They're I think it's like Xfinity or something
that's
like
what
that.
I'm thinking. Comcast Xfinity. That's what I thought. I thought that's how most of it is in the city because Verizon doesn't have access around here. Okay, cool. We'll give them a call. We'll take care of it.
Hardwired, right? I mean, you can't. You gotta be hardwired, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So we can't have it. It's got to be someone who comes and runs the cable's got to come through and we got to be because nothing can be connected to Wi-Fi. Um,
Right. No. Yeah.
okay, I think it's Comcast Xfinity too. I was just checking. I figured ask you.
Yeah, you can go with whoever you want to go with.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
because the old building, I had Comcast. They had an interface where it was all everything was wired into every unit, and we just used that. But
yeah.
there's no leadings up there. You can do anybody you want to go with.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah. I'll just check. All right. Cool. Just checking. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate it so much, man. Have a good night.
thanks, man.
All right, buddy. Peace.
El costo del viaje me parece razonable.
Yo,
Yo, yo. Okay, I got you. I promoted you. I'm trying to promote Ali. I was wondering. I was like, they said 5:45. I don't know where they at.
yeah, I looked on I thought it was gonna be on the invite, on the Google Calendar thing, but
No, yeah, I didn't even see that you all were on. I didn't know until Ali's like, I'm on here. I was like, oh shit. So I had to go to the attendees and then add y'all to the panel so that you could talk, so the three of us could talk. Now, I guess as other people log
How
in
do
and
we
stuff.
tell when people join?
It, see, I looked at the participants thing and it says participants. It says panelists right now.
You
There's the three of us as the panelists, and then attendees will start popping up. But they probably won't um, join because you couldn't see me when you were on, right?
I can see you.
Now you can, but when you first did, were you able to?
No, I can see you the whole time.
Oh, could you hear me moving
Yeah,
around? Oh shit,
I can see you and hear you.
interesting. All right, well I can always. How about we mute ourselves just in case? Oh, well at least. Well, I guess if someone pops on, I'll see the attendees thing join. So let's just discuss this quick, just in case.
should we stop the recording?
I don't.
I mean, I feel like Ashton can clean that
Edit
up.
it up.
Yeah,
So no one else is on here but the three of us.
yeah. Oh no, someone is now.
Um, Maybe we can mute and turn off our video until it's 6 o'clock.
right, all right, all right. How is everyone doing this evening? We'll let some other people sprinkle in. For all those people, I guess this is a webinar. We can't see all your beautiful faces, which is kind of unfortunate. I would love to see everybody.
Yeah, thank y'all for carving out time uh during the course of, if you're on the East Coast, your evening, or wherever you're from, just because we want to inform y'all about the work that we're doing, and different opportunities that you'll be able to join us in empowering folks.
So, I see there are a bunch of people already here with us. If you could, maybe you can share in the chat. Is there even a chat is the question. Where you're coming from, which I don't see where they would tap, where they chat. See, this is our first time doing a webinar, y'all, so that was a little new territory for us here. Maybe I can do, here we go.
Hey, we see somebody from Ohio.
Oh, there it is. I see it now, a little Q&A thing. Welcome, Ohio, welcome.
We're in Baltimore, in case y'all did not know.
Jersey in the house. Jersey in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, Ellicott City. That's right around the corner from Bmore. Maybe, what do you think, guys? Wait a few more minutes and then get started. LA.
We got an international participant, Spain.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah, we're looking forward to connecting with everybody in here. We just decided to do one of these just to, just invite people to share some space with us. And, Andy's going to lead off with the practice, and then we'll dive into, why being trauma informed is important, our backstory, and a couple other things. But just to kind of let people know more about who we are, what we do, and how you can potentially collaborate with us in a number of ways. That's what the purpose of this, I guess, platform is right here. So thank y'all for carving out some time to come hang with the founders of the Holistic Life Foundation.
Heck yeah. Well, we got a good amount of people here already. I think I'll go ahead and get started. And if as people join, they can just join in. But like Atma said, well, y'all may not know. Also, I'll introduce this is Atman, of course, and then I'm on desk. Nice to meet y'all. We're co-founders here. Ali, you want to say hi?
What's up, everybody? I'm Ali.
So I'll get started with a little practice. Depending on where you're at, like Atma said, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, in Spain, I know it's different times, so some of y'all might be nighttime, some of y'all might be a little earlier. But just always good to do a practice, get yourself settled in. Hope you had a great day today. So I welcome everybody to get into a comfortable seated position. Ideally, your head, neck, and spine are aligned. If you can, have your feet ground on the floor if that feels comfortable for you. I welcome you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. If not, maybe you can just lighten your gaze a little. Stare at the tip of your nose or stare at a point, the wall in front of you. We'll start by taking a few deep breaths together. Everything's going to be in and out of our noses. So everybody take a nice deep inhale in through your nose. And go ahead and exhale it all out. Nice long, slow, deep breaths. We're going to breathe in deep through our nose again. Go ahead, exhale it all out. We'll take one more together. Nice inhale through your nose. Go ahead and breathe it all out. Just continue to breathe on your own, at your own comfortable pace. Don't put any extra effort into it. Just nice, long, slow, deep breaths. With each breath, you can feel your mind slowing down, your body relaxing. The first thing I invite you to do is I want you to focus on your breath, but in particular, I want you to focus on how your breath feels. So when you breathe in, feel the air brushing past your nostrils, your lungs expanding. When you breathe out, feel the air pushing back out past your nostrils. So that the only sensation of feeling that you have right now is that of your breath. You no longer feel the weight of the clothes on your skin, your body on the chair, your feet on the ground. All you feel is each breath coming in and leaving out. If you happen to get distracted by a thought, a sound, or a sensation, that's cool. Life's filled with distractions. Just recognize the distraction, let it pass, and then return your attention back to your breath and the way it feels. Each inhale and each exhale brushing past your nostrils. Continue to keep our attention on our breaths. I'm going to shift it a little. Instead of focusing on how it feels, now I invite you to focus on how it sounds. You may not have noticed this before, but your inhale has a slightly different sound than your exhale. So the only sound you hear besides my voice guiding you is that of your breath. You no longer hear the fan of your computer, maybe people walking outside your home. All you hear is your breath coming in and leaving out. If you happen to get distracted by a thought, a sound, or sensation, it's all right. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just recognize the distraction. Let it pass. And return your attention back to your breath and the sound that it makes. Each inhale and each exhale. last part of this practice is I welcome you to focus your mind on your breath, on how it feels and how it sounds, so that your mind is completely focused, one pointed, on each inhale and each exhale, the way it feels and the way it sounds. Always remembering that if a distraction presents itself, just to recognize the distraction, whether a thought, sound, or sensation, just let it pass. And then returning your mind back to your breath, one pointed on each inhale and exhale, the way they feel and the way they sound. Slowly bring our attention back to our bodies. You can do so by just wiggling our fingers and our toes a little. Roll around your wrists, your ankles. Stretch our neck out like you're doing a neck roll both ways. You can just turn your head from side to side. You feel comfortable doing so. If you had your eyes closed, you can slowly blink them open. Come back to your senses. Alright, thanks for joining us. Simple practice, y'all. There's 3 parts to it. You just focus on your breath, focus on how it feels. Focus on how it sounds. Focus your mind on the breath. It's a really great practice too. It's one of these practices that really helps you get one pointed, get you focused, and block out everything that's going on, whether it's the internal or the external stimuli that you're facing in life. And it's great because you always have your breath with you. So no matter where you're at, you can always break this one out. Just take a few deep breaths, really focus on it, get yourself centered, get yourself present.
And here's the question about the meditation and the
Oh, okay.
Q&A.
Thank you. It says, are we inhaling through nose and exhaling out mouth? Concentrating on breathing is not easy. Yeah. So we're going to be in that practice. You want to try to breathe in and out of your nose. So a lot of times we hear people ask us this. They always ask us why to breathe out of their noses instead of out of the mouth. When you're breathing in, you have nose hairs in your nose, and a lot of the germs, the dust, the dander, microscopic stuff that's floating in the air, it sticks on your nose hairs. And then conceptually, the idea is when you breathe out your nose, you're pushing that stuff out of your body. A lot of people, there are different breathing techniques and practices where you breathe in and out your mouth, but I think the reason most people breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth is because that's the way they were taught in gym class, and until your lung capacity gets large enough, it's difficult to run while breathing in and out your nose. So I think people say into the nose and out through the mouth. But that practice,
there's so many different ways that people
Yeah.
teach, how to do the breath. It's just the way that we teach it that resonates with us. That it's very scientific. And one thing you'll notice with HLF is like everything that we do, everything that we teach, we come from a place of wisdom instead of theory. And we've done this. Our teachers have done this, and it's been passed on from millennium, basically. That scientifically, that's the way that humans are supposed to breathe. And somewhere along the way we forget to how to breathe properly. But scientifically, it's the most conscious, healthiest way for us as humans to breathe.
And you're welcome, Veronica. I'm glad you joined us tonight.
All right. I guess a little bit about us and our journey with the practice and why we're even hosting this. The three of us started the Holistic Life Foundation about a quarter century ago. We've
What a
been
century.
we got like 24 years deep in our work. Next year will be our 25th anniversary of doing this work. Um, Op and I grew up, we had a few years of a meditation base growing up, probably from around when we were born until the time I got in fourth grade and Oppen was in second grade. We grew up in a Kriya Yoga self-realization fellowship church.
And
Uh,
y'all don't know we're brothers. That's the reason, just putting that out there.
it's Kriya Yoga self-realization fellowship church, where we meditated at church. Our dad had us doing transcendental meditation as kids, and then when he got out of the practice, we got out of ours. Fast forward, going through life, um, met Andy at University of Maryland College Park, and trying to figure out what we're going to do with our lives. Our godfather, who was the one that taught our dad the practice and introduced him to it, um, was one of those people that got into yoga in the 60s and never ever got out of it. If you read our book, we're talking about Uncle Will. He's mentioned a bunch of times in the book, and if you ever heard us speak or you ever take a class from us, you'll hear us mention him, just because of how impactful he was on our practice. Um, so this is the end of college. We get back into the practice. We moved back into the neighborhood we grew up in, and started the Holistic Life Foundation because our dad sat us down and told us not to go get jobs. He told us to start our own business for a multitude of reasons. A lot of them had to do with being able to hire people who didn't have an opportunity to get fair employment, particularly after with their education level or their incarceration record, or just because of racism. You know what I mean? He didn't want us to have to deal with that glass ceiling in the workplace. So the Holistic Life Foundation was what we came up with. I think one of the first things we noticed when we started the Holistic Life Foundation was how traumatized our community had been from crack. You know what I mean? Like when we grew up in our neighborhood, it was a very loving and connected place. All homeowners, one big family, one big community. Crack hit and it destroyed the infrastructure and the families and the love and the connection in our community and a lot of communities across the United States. So I don't think we knew it was trauma when we moved back because this was like 2001. Body keeps the score, whatnot. People weren't talking about trauma. We could see something was going on where there was a lack of connection and there were these walls that had been built up between people. When we started doing our after school program, we started with 15 fifth grade boys at Windsor Hills Elementary School. And, we thought we were just dealing with a bunch of kids with attitude problems and kids who had behavior problems. As we started to get to know the kids, we realized again, there was something going on that we had to help these kids heal from so they could be whole again. Again, not knowing it was trauma. It was just like certain things in the ways that we taught in a traditional yoga form that we had to adjust to help these kids. And once we did adjust it to what was working with them, we did see the kids start to shift. I think once we moved into after we finished with that group, we got a group from our neighborhood, and those kids were probably dealing with even more trauma than the group that we had worked with at Windsor Hills. There was a lot going on, and the kids it seemed like they were angry and they were sad and they were disconnected. That's the way we dealt with it, but we shifted the way we taught to kind of help them heal from that. Again, not knowing it was trauma. I don't think we realized what trauma was and what was going on exactly until our after school program shifted to Robert W. Coleman Elementary, and we had to start training other people. Like a lot of people, we've probably trained and employed about 50 of our former students to come work for us over the time we've had the Holistic Life Foundation. And I think we weren't able to articulate the way we were teaching. I think we became trauma informed out of practice, and it was just instinctual to us. We could just work with a group of kids, and we could teach them in a way that they were starting to heal. But we weren't good at teaching other people how to do it until we started to hear about trauma and what it was. And we're like, oh, so that's what's going on. These kids are traumatized, and we've seen it across the board, not just in Baltimore. Our Mohawk Reservation program in Aguasasne, we have a satellite program there. A lot of trauma, a lot of intergenerational trauma in the cities, Chicago, Milwaukee, and Denver that we're in. And then a lot of the work we do with adults too, because I think a lot of people know us as the organization that does work with little kids, like probably K through 5. We do K through 12 and adults, young adults, seniors, You name it. But we noticed when we were in detention centers, we were in drug treatment facilities, when we were in mental crisis facilities, when we were in senior centers, everybody was dealing with trauma. So I think we really had to be informed about the way that we were teaching, to figure out how we could get these practices across in a way that was empowering people and helping them heal, and not harming them. You know what I mean? Like we didn't want to harm anybody with the practice. The practices are made to heal people. I think that was what we had to figure out as we were going through this quarter century with the Holistic Life Foundation, was how to help people heal with the practices in a way that was going to help them and uplift them.
And just to build on what Ali was saying, I saw a question in the chat. What's the name of the book? The name of the book, one of the most epic books next to the Iliad and the Odyssey and the Quran and the Bible, is our book that we wrote, Let Your Light Shine. Check it out. You can get it on Amazon, go to your local bookstore and request it. But, we really put our heart and soul into the book. Not only is it the couple of decades that we have an experience of with the Holistic Life Foundation, with our own personal study, teaching it to different communities. But then it also has some background on our teacher, our dad, our mom, three of the people that were very integral into us creating the Holistic Life Foundation. Um, you know, what got them into, thinking on a, I guess, a wider scope of, what it means to be of service, what it means to be empowered. And it also talks about our work that we did in the Mohawk Reservation, talks about a lot of their stories. And then it also has like personal practices that people can use to kind of not only help themselves, but help their loved ones, whether it's, siblings, whether it's significant others, whether it's kids. And it's, all scripts in there that are in a trauma informed way, that like Ali was saying, he touched on it a little bit, but being trauma informed is very, very important to us. The reason is that there are a lot of people out here, whether it's individuals or organizations, teaching yoga and mindfulness and other healing practices, but sometimes if they aren't trauma informed, they're doing more harm than good. And the harm can come from the verbiage that they're using while they're teaching. It could come from the way that they're teaching the specific practices that are healing, but if they're not teaching it in a trauma informed way, once again, you could kind of bring up that trauma that people may have been suppressing due to different reasons, different ways that you're teaching it. And one thing that we've seen, and we've become experts at now, with, like Ali said, like a quarter century, that's a long time. We have definitely figured out ways to make the practices trauma informed, where it is empowering to communities. We teach in a way that is a reciprocal teaching model, where people usually try to teach in a way where people are dependent on their teachers, but that's not how our teacher taught us. He taught us in a way where you teach your students, your clients, whoever it is that you're trying to be of service to, you teach them how to be teachers. And what we mean by that is you teach them what the benefits are, how to do the practice, and then jumping them into the practice, explaining to them how important it is to have a personal practice for yourself so you can feel the benefits of it. And then also having a personal practice, so when you are teaching it to other people, you can speak from, once again, that wisdom instead of theory. Because when you're teaching, questions will come up. People will ask you, well, I did this practice and this came up in me, and or something or other like that. And you won't be able to really come from a place of wisdom when you're answering their questions if you're just coming from a place of theory. So with us, personal practice is very important. And and being able to teach in a trauma informed way, it's like understanding the verbiage that helps empower people, helps heal people, helps them raise their vibration. A lot of times there are certain ways when people are teaching where it can allow that trauma to erupt inside of them. And I think one of the things that we've excelled at is not only having practices that we know work, but having a way to be able to deliver them where, it is always healing. We've been teaching in some of like the communities with the highest ACEs scores in America in Baltimore. And, we've been successful, like Ali was saying, in a lot of different demographics, whether it's, you know, pre-K through 12, whether it's in colleges, whether it's in detention facilities, whether it's homeless shelters, um, whether it's drug rehab centers, whether it's um, senior facilities, whether it's, like we also teach in like the um trauma. They're making Baltimore a trauma informed city through the Healing Cities Act, invoked by City Council President Zeke Cohen. And one thing that we've done, we've been the mindfulness and yoga aspect of that citywide initiative where we've taught so many different groups, whether it's like the heads of every city agency, the heads of the different media outlets, um, the all the Department of Parks and Recs, whether it's the executives to like the groundskeepers. And we taught it in a way where it is trauma informed, where it does allow people to understand how it helps them out. And what we've been doing in the city, in a community that has such high ACEs scores, and helps people heal. The councilman Zeke Cohen, city council president, has propped us up to be able to help that many more people. So I think that you know us being have been, since we've been doing it in Baltimore for so long, it makes it that much easier to do it in other cities, other countries, just because we are dealing with communities that are dealing with a lot of undiagnosed trauma. And if we can kind of help empower these people with these practices and help them heal themselves. People always try to give us the props like, man, y'all heal, this community, that community. We're like, nah, we don't heal any communities. We empower people with the tools to be able to heal themselves. Just because, if somebody's dependent on you, when you go away, then, they revert back to, whatever they're going through, whatever their coping mechanisms are. But if you empower them with the practice to be able to help heal themselves, their families, friends, and communities, the reverberation of the impact of what you're doing kind of goes out throughout the entire community, and it makes a huger wave when you drop that pebble in the ocean, if you feel me. So I mean, that's the reason why we do teach in a trauma informed way. We've honed it here in Baltimore and been like, very successful at, all those different demographics that I was talking about. Um, and, just because we want to empower people with the practice to be able to help themselves, help their family, friends, and their community. And, it could go either way. Like with these practices, you can either help them heal or help traumatize them even more. And we've kind of become experts in empowering communities in how to heal for the simple fact that, we know, trauma informed is like a buzzword now, but, we are truly trauma informed in the way that we teach people how to deliver these practices to themselves and others.
So I see Christine asked if we'll be sending a recording out to individuals because she's leaving a little early. I know we're recording this, so I think that we can send it back out to you, Christine.
Yeah, we can definitely send it out, and like if you follow us on social media, Instagram or Facebook, I'm sure we have like one of the best directors of marketing on the planet, and she's definitely gonna cut it up and like put some of the talking points online so you all be able to watch it there. But we'll make sure that we can kind of send you the video.
Yes, and then someone else made a really beautiful point. They said they definitely agree that a lot of people are dealing with trauma and trying to navigate through life with it. Belief that many professionals like doctors would benefit from being able to recognize trauma in patients and refer them for help because it shows up in all facets. And I think that's certainly true. And we've seen that in a lot of the years of experience that we've been doing this work, and we can see how trauma shows up in our programs in a wide variety of ways. Whether it's primary trauma that someone's experienced, secondary trauma, um, complex traumas, intergenerational traumas. You can see it on all levels, in our programs. Not only do you see it with the kids, but you see it with the adults. And I think when we first got started, like Alma had just said, now trauma really is a buzzword, and we didn't notice it. Like we just thought it was bad kids, and we didn't know that they were going through all this stuff. So I think now that we're more privy to it, it's way more recognizable. And I think even all the people here all on here right now listening, as you analyze yourself a little more, I'm sure that there are some levels of trauma that you've experienced, and that maybe you might, I don't want to say ignore, but that you might have pushed down and kind of just pushed to the side a little, and just keep moving along with your life. And in our programs, I remember back in the day, really tell the story how when we first started meditating and stuff like that, Uncle Will always told us to close our eyes, right? And I would say when we first got started, like, that's how you meditate. Like, who meditates with their eyes open, right? But just learning and experience with the kids, and seeing how some kids have gone through some things that make them unable to close their eyes, or at least comfortably close their eyes, to do a practice. And so you can see how, we've seen it firsthand where some kids have gone through some things, and we understand now that, hey, that's why you could hear when I was starting, the verbiage that I was talking about, certain ways of talking and welcoming and inviting individuals, and just being very careful when you are, speaking to the youth. And again, like I said, it's not only the kids that we see this trauma, but it's also the adults and what they go through, and how sometimes I think that since they are facing trauma, they look at the youth in our programs, and they just think, oh, they're just bad kids, instead of really kind of trying to really see where they're coming from, see what they've experienced, see what they've gone through, and really listen to them and understand that, hey, Johnny's not acting out because he's a bad kid, but because he's gone through something, and really listening to them. And I think it's such a wide variety of skills and techniques and practices that we've learned over this quarter century of doing the work, and it's very evident that you can see all phases of trauma in our programming, and we know it can help, and we have seen it heal people.
So in the long time we've been doing this work, we've seen a lot of people heal from trauma in a lot of different ways, from the practice we've empowered them with. Um, there's a great story in our book about a young woman. I don't know if we use her name in there, but the story where she has someone jacked up against the locker and she's about to punch him, and through the practice and rewiring her brain through neuroplasticity, she decided that she wasn't going to punch this person, and go sit down and go do some breathing and meditate, and was able to take control through the practice. Another young man, I'm pretty sure this one's in there too, where a kid picked up his friend and body slammed him over a table. And just, and the teachers were warning us, principals warning us about this young man. And again, through certain techniques that we taught him in a trauma-informed way, and in our interaction with him was trauma-informed, where by the end of the day, he was a completely different person, where, he came to school the next day, and the teachers and principal were trying to figure out what magic we did with him. When we explained it to him, it was so simple. You know what I mean? It's a simple fix. But again, knowing how to interact with people in a trauma-informed way changes not just the techniques, but your interactions with people, is very important too. I know our first group of students, was pretty amazing to see them compared to their peers. They all of them graduated from in Baltimore City, the graduation rates at that time, I mean, I guess now too, weren't really high. But of those 20 students, all of them graduated from school on time or early. When we did the data collection, none of them were incarcerated. They were all working. And it was amazing statistics. And it was because, again, we didn't know we were helping them to heal their trauma, but when we looked back at what was going on, it was through the practices, our interactions with them, and showing them how to interact with each other and with themselves in a trauma-informed manner that helped them heal and had these great outcomes in life, just in general. And also, I think one of the things we saw was if you look at the effects of trauma on the mind of young people, a lot of kids get misdiagnosed with ADHD and get put on medication for their trauma. Something we've noticed, and it's a lot of the young people that came through our program were able to get taken off of their trauma. I mean, their trauma medication. I guess it was kind of dulling it, but the ADHD medication because like of course it helps you just calm down and settle down. When we were really looking at what was going on with them, they were misdiagnosed with ADHD. They were just traumatized, and the healing that takes place physiologically and neurologically when you teach someone in a trauma-informed way, help them to kind of recenter and have access to, just all the parts of their brain function. And it helped them to heal only because of the trauma-informed way that we were teaching them.
So I know sometimes people question, like, what makes these guys think, or this organization as a whole think that they know what they're talking about, that they can speak from an expert's perspective on helping people heal trauma. And for doing this for like a quarter century, we can stand with our chest out and say, yeah, we are experts at this. Because we have seen how we've empowered people. It's not us, we're just conduits of that information that has been passed on to us, and we've refined it in a way to make it more and more trauma informed, understanding trauma, having mentors like a Dr. Mark Greenberg or Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, where they will give us the scientific information on how to get things, I guess, speak to people on the level that they need to be spoken to. Besides our teacher and our dad, a lot of our mentors have helped us out, like Bessel, letting us know about how, like, what trauma is and what the best ways of healing trauma, and being able to bring our practices to kind of merge all that stuff. But honestly, besides having those mentors, the other things that make us experts at teaching in a trauma-informed way, we're like the first randomized controlled study of the effectiveness of yoga and mindfulness on urban youth. And this was like over a decade and a half ago with Johns Hopkins and Penn State. And, the impact that our program had on the kids that we were working with was amazing. Lots of great findings from, after the program happened, they did a post test, and then they did something 6 months, and then, 18 months out. And, one of the things that, was beautiful about that is we learned so much from that point to right now. And, Baltimore, like I said before, has some of the highest ACEs scores in America. And, Kennedy Krieger actually did a study on the high ACEs scores of Baltimore. And, one of the organizations that they put in their research paper, the scientific document that helps people heal from their trauma, is the Holistic Life Foundation. So, besides having the years of experience, we have studies proving that, we do help heal trauma or help empower people to heal their own trauma. And, I think that's, one of the beautiful things about our organization is, we aren't stagnant. We're always continuously learning. And, the techniques have been thousands of years old, but, there are, different ways to be able to deliver the techniques. Even this past weekend, we are always teaching, but we always learn from the people that we're teaching. There's a certain practice that we teach that's really good at, eliminating stress and getting people back to the present moment, slowing your mind down, helping you fall asleep, like a whole bunch, helping with, like, as far as kids, test anxiety and, all that type of stuff. With adults, good at helping them if they have to give a presentation to help them kind of slow down so they can kind of deliver whatever they're presenting at a very high level. But in the practice, there is like, a whole like where you lock your chin down to your chest. And this past weekend, this teacher was actually saying that, you might want to be mindful of the verbiage that you use when you say lock your chin down to your chest, because kids associate they have to go through lockdown drills. And that's one of the instances where we're always avid learners and we can learn from the people that we're presenting. So our being trauma informed is slowly getting better and better and morphing with the days and times, because back when we first started, lockdowns weren't a thing in schools, but now that is a reality. So, now it's more about, suspending the breath, or, suspending your chin to your chest. You know what I mean? So it's um, really one of those things that not only do we have the studies to back the practices and the way that we're teaching, but we're also learning as we go along and adapting and, just adjusting where we need to. And it's really one of those things that, we know we've had a huge impact in Baltimore. So everywhere we go around the nation and around the world, we're really able to have an impact because, we deliver the programs, but then we also connect with local people from those communities so they can kind of translate what we do to their language, their cultural competency and all that stuff. And they can help us continue the message after we leave. So I think that's one of the reasons why we are experts, because we're expert enough to know what we can deliver and to get out the way and leave it to the people in the community to help impact their community.
I think you add all that Atma just said, and our experience of just, I think, all the different dynamic groups that we've talked to over these 20 some years. Whether it's individuals who are young kids, we get highlighted for a lot of those underserved communities that we work with in the group of kids, but being in mental health facilities, drug rehabilitation centers, correctional facilities, the homeless shelters, corporations, working with individuals in underserved communities, but also affluent communities and all different cultures and demographics. And we've been all over the nation and we've been all over the world for real. We've done work in Lebanon and South Korea and Germany and Colombia and Spain and Scotland and England and Canada and just all over the place. We're about to do some stuff in Australia and Dublin. So I think it's amazing no matter where we go, still you get a completely different culture, have a completely different language, and we know how to meet people where they are. And I think that's a big part of our expertise and something that Uncle Will really talked to us about. And of course, our authenticity stems from us having our own practice. But I also think Uncle Will really hammered home, meet people where they are and to make it practical and relatable for them. So I think it's pretty amazing how long we've been doing the work, and we're hoping to keep helping you all out. Before we finish off here, there's some things in the chat here. Someone said the thing about buzzwords. I think it's brilliant and how they're generated more when conditions become more prevalent. I think trauma has definitely become way more prevalent in our society. So I definitely, I see where you're coming from with that. Karen, I hope you hear me better. I'm sorry if I'm a little low. I try to change the setting where I cancel out some noise, so hopefully you can hear me fine now.
And I see somebody says something about curious if your techniques should be combined with medication for some. And we're not doctors, so we can't say what does or doesn't work, but we can go from our personal experiences where, like Ali was saying, we have dealt with, people in communities, underserved communities and schools where they are taking ADHD medication, but they start doing our practices and they're able to self-regulate themselves. And like Andy was saying, like, when Ali, Andy, and I were like volunteering our time for our organization, we were working in a mental illness facility, and we were teaching groups there where we wouldn't go on the script with teaching what they wanted us to. We got permission to be able to teach breathing practices, meditation, slight movement from the chair, And one thing that they noticed is that, when people did learn how to self-regulate, their PRNs or as needed medications went down. So, we're not doctors, so we can't really say, that yes, you should combine them with a medication, but we have seen with personal experiences that people do combine them with medication, and eventually they can self-regulate to wean themselves, you know, off their medication or not need them as much. But you should always talk to your doctor, because we don't have any of those type of degrees, but just speaking from our personal experience.
And just in case anyone forgot, I saw someone answer. I think Ali answered again, but yeah, our book is called Let Your Light Shine. Please try to support your local bookstores. If not, I see someone, you can go and get it on Kindle, get Amazon. It's all there. So tell a friend, get a few of them. It's the holidays, right? Share with some people. It's a great story, like Atma said. Um, something, another opportunity that's really, really great that we, really want y'all to know about is our certification program. We have this amazing certification platform that we've been doing. We've done 2 cohorts already, one in Baltimore, one in LA. It's a year-long program with 11 modules, basically sharing all of our expertise that Atman was just talking about. That we have everything we've learned, language, practices, techniques, structure. So if any one of y'all are interested in doing what we do, it's a way for you to get trained and certified under the umbrella of the Holistic Life Foundation. And it's an amazing opportunity. We'll come in, we do these in-person retreats for like a little weekend. You get to know us. We walk you through the platform. You understand how to do it. And then you get hang out with us for a whole year. Once a month, we do a little live chat. We go over everything. And it's a very thorough platform. I mean, there's a bunch of videos of Ali Atman and I guiding you through practices, techniques, strategies, philosophies, and then writing exercises and reading exercises. We have supplemental information. We have assignments for you to do, and you can just always touch base and check in with us. And it really is a brilliant opportunity, and we're going to be doing a few more all throughout the nation coming up soon. So if you're interested, please, sign up. It's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, it's a great investment in yourself and in your ability to help heal communities. I feel like most of the people, hopefully, I mean, I don't know, but I feel like the people that are on here are probably on here because they're interested in learning to teach in a trauma-informed manner so they can help people heal themselves. And if you really want to do that, you won't find a better group of people to learn from. Again, take from our 25 years of experience, our work in Baltimore and around the world, and the time we've taken to really hone our craft. Like we might just we right now, we're just doing the training and we're administrators and all that type of stuff. But for a decade or so, we were actually in the streets doing the work. Like we were in schools, we were in all those places that we've been mentioning, and we've been helping people heal from their trauma. So if you're really interested, there's a lot of different certification programs out there. A lot of people do have certifications already. But if you're really wanting to get into traumatized communities, whether they're urban, whether they're rural, whether they're in the United States, whether they're international, whether they're with kids, adults, seniors, it doesn't really matter. We'll show you how to be able to get into those communities, teach them in a trauma-informed way. And as you're doing the teaching, you'll see the people start to heal up. It's going to be amazing to watch. It's going to be great to see. And you're also going to see them share the practices with other people. Something that always happens when you empower people, they want to teach more people and empower people also. So it's like the effects of the training just kind of keep reverberating out into the community. So definitely invest in yourself if you're interested in making this change in your community and in the world.
And I think one of the coolest things is like, it is costly to join the training, but we do have different payment options, whether it's 2 to 4 to 6 different payments. So it'll make it more practical for you all to be able to pay for the training. And it's like Ali said, it's an investment in yourself. Not only will you be able to help yourself whenever living the human experience, there's highs and lows, and if you can kind of like navigate those highs and lows with practices that are within you, that will make those highs and lows not so high, not so low. Um, but then you'll also be able to help support any people that are suffering or struggling that are around you, whether it's family, friends, co-workers, or clients. So you will be able to uh, impact your life, other people's lives, in a way that you'll be paying it forward, and you know it's definitely worth the investment. Like Andy was saying, this is 25 years. Actually, more than that, because our teacher, he's been doing the work for a long time, and before that, the practice itself has been doing the work. So it's thousands of years of research and practice and information being presented to you all in a trauma-informed way that can help empower families, communities, whoever you're trying to impact.
Yeah, and Shannon, good questions in the chat. Um, if there are conflicts with your schedule, the live sessions are recorded and you can watch them later. Um, and thanks for coming out to Omega. That was it was always a lot of fun to teach there. And we always recommend guided meditations and visualizations. We get into all that, like the why and the how in the certification course, but always guided and guided practices and visualizations.
So we have some upcoming cohorts coming up. We have Denver and Seattle. We also have Columbus, Ohio. If you go on our website, there's just go to the drop-down menu, check out the certification program. Right now, there is a holiday discount at the moment, so you get $500 off. And actually, we're giving all of you all who attended an exclusive limited time bonus. So on top of the $500 holiday discount, we'll also give you an extra 10% off with the webinar code. You can write it down right now. It's just webinar10. That'll be valid for the next 72 hours only. So go ahead and sign up if you're interested. Like Adam said, there's a payment plan option, so you don't have to pay the full amount. But next 72 hours, take advantage of that extra 10% discount that we're throwing out now. Really appreciate y'all joining us on this. Like Adam said, you're taking time to do something like this, shows you care. We want to support you and be a resource for you all to continue sharing this type of work, impacting people's lives. And we've seen it. We see the benefits, we see what it does. It's very, very powerful. Not only does it change, the programs that we lead the practice at, but it transforms entire communities with the reciprocal model that we use as well. So,
and if y'all know people that are into community work, whether it's like, it could be nurses, it could be psychiatrists, it could be first responders, it could be just, grassroots community organizations. Tell them about it. If you know any people who are into supporting community service or community initiatives, like philanthropists, reach out to them and let them know that, they can support some people from your community to be able to get down with this year-long certification. So, it's can work in a lot of different ways, and the holiday season is coming around. You might want to, ask your significant other or family member to help sponsor you, or you might want to be the one to sponsor somebody else. But, it really is worth the investment for yourself, for your family, friends, and community.
All right, y'all. We want to thank you all for your time and joining us this evening or afternoon, depending on, I guess, middle of the night for some people, maybe. We're thankful you all for joining us. Please use this as a resource. If you're interested in this work, really do sign up for that certification. It's just hlfcertification.com. And hopefully we'll see you all at one of the in-person retreats.
Yeah, come join the HLF fam, y'all.
Yeah, peace and love, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.